What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. As you can tell from the title today, we are going 0 to 100. I wanted to sit down and just beat my face today, I guess. It's been a while since I've done something super dramatic like a cut crease, anything with intense glitter, really flawless skin. That's what I wanted to do today. I don't know what it is lately, but I've kind of been feeling like I'm a little bit off center, and whenever I get like that, the one thing that helps me feel like myself again is just sitting down and being creative. And being creative for me is playing with makeup. So makeup isn't necessarily something that I need to look or feel good, but it is something that I do find pleasure in. It's something that's fun for me. It's something that I enjoy doing. So if you ever feel that you're in some type of funk, my advice is to sit down, figure out what it is that's going to make you feel better again, whether that be changing into your favorite outfit, cooking your favorite meal, sitting down and playing with makeup. It really is dependent on what you like because not everybody is the same. But as I said, makeup for me is something that is really fun. It's something that I enjoy doing, and it's something that just helps me chill, focus, and slow my mind down. So if you guys want to hang out with me today, watch me beat my face, go from 0 to 100, straight up catfish type of look, then keep on watching. If you do enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, like it before you leave it, and if you're new, you know what to do. Join the crew by hitting the little red subscribe button down below. And click the bell as well so you don't miss any more videos that I post. And with that being said, let's get into it. Alright you guys, first things first, I'm going to be starting off today by priming my skin, and for that I'm using the NYX multitasking spray. If you guys have watched any of my other makeup tutorials, then you would know that this is a current favorite of mine. I love to use it especially to prime my face and also set my makeup. So I just realized as I was showing you the next product that I'm going to use that I am missing a nail. I guess my gel polish decided to peel off at some point and I didn't realize it, so yeah, I'm just casually missing a nail, ignore that. But yes, next up I'm going to be going with foundation, and this is the Maybelline Superstay 24-Hour Foundation. This is actually a current favorite of mine. I feel like the color just matches my current skin tone perfectly, plus it is a really great formula, so I do love it for both of those reasons. But as you guys can see, just dotting that onto my face, applying it evenly, and then going in with a dampened Miracle Complexion Sponge from Real Techniques and blending and patting that into the skin. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and conceal, and for that I'm using the L'Oreal More Than Concealer. This one in particular is in the shade Cashmere, and as you guys can see, just applying that to all the usual areas, such as underneath my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, and above my brows. Also just a teeny bit on my chin. And then I'm going to be using a fluffy airbrush concealer brush to blend that into the skin. One thing I've really realized with concealer is that placement really does matter. Even though you are blending it out, the initial placement of it really does determine the way that it shapes your face. So that's why you guys will notice I have all these different shapes going on that I'm blending out, and that is because it's all about placement. I've spoken about using brushes like these for blending out your concealer before, and I honestly feel like they are the most effective when it comes to providing maximum coverage as well as making things look flawless. Plus they make it so much easier to get to the inner corners of your eyes, especially for someone like me who wears lash extensions and they do tend to get in the way. Using a brush to blend out the concealer really does help with stopping it from going everywhere. I'm also just going to take whatever is left on the brush and run it over my lids just to even out any darkness that I have going on there and give me an even canvas to apply my shadows to. I'm going to go ahead and quickly set that under eye area, and for that I'm using the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. This was actually a recent discovery for me. I actually used it for the first time in my previous makeup tutorial and I really like how it looked. So I'm just going to be taking some of that with my beauty sponge, and then I'm going to go ahead and apply it underneath my eyes and pack it on. Kind of like a baking technique. For me personally, baking isn't something that I necessarily do on a regular basis. However, if I am doing a full glam makeup tutorial, I feel like it is necessary. And then I'm not leaving it on there for too long. I'm just going to go ahead and brush it away with a fluffy brush. I'm going to go ahead and fill in my brows now, and for that I'm going to be using a combination of these two products. So I have here the Benefit Brow Microfilling pen. If you guys haven't watched my initial first impressions review on that, I'm going to leave a link somewhere on the screen and in the description box. But yes, I'm going to be using this, and then I'm also going to be using the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil. So to start off with the Benefit Brow Microfilling Pen, I'm going to go ahead and give myself those little tiny brow-like hair strokes throughout my brows. Nothing too precise with it, just really giving me a little bit more depth to the brows because I do have some sparse areas, especially around the head of the brow. And then I'll go in with the e.l.f. brow pencil just to add a little more fullness to the brow and fill in any other gaps and further define the tail end of the brow as well. Alright, so now that those brows are filled in, we can move on to the eyes. So today for this look, I'm going to be using the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette that she did in collaboration with Morphe, and I want to go for like a really typical bronzy brown toned neutral tone kind of look today, because whenever I think of like a full beat 0 to 100 glam on myself, I think of what I naturally gravitate towards, which are all of these like warm tones in this kind of realm over here. So to start off with today, I'm gonna go ahead and take this shade up the top here as an initial transition shade. This is Perfectionist, and I'm just going to be taking a fluffy blending brush and applying that through my crease. As you guys can see, I'm taking that all the way from the inner corner to the outer corner of my eyes as well, and I'm just softly blending and blowing it out as I go along. I'm also just going to be taking that same shade and running it along my bottom lash line as well. You guys know the drill, whatever goes into my crease generally goes along my bottom lash line, so I'm just applying it along there and smoking it out. And the next up, we're going to be going in with this shade down here. This is called G Money. It's like a matte peanut butter type of shade. So just taking that on another fluffy blending brush and blending that through my crease once again, but not blowing it out as far. I'm keeping it a little more concentrated to add a little more depth and also further define the crease. I'm also going a little bit heavier with this shadow as well, just because I will be giving myself a semi-cut crease today. So I want that crease line to be really defined, which means I need to be a little heavy-handed with this second shadow that I'm laying down to make sure that it pops when I cut the crease. Alright, so I'm pretty much done with laying that second shade down. I know it looks crazy, but this is the part where I'm going to go ahead and cut the crease. So for that, I will be using the same concealer that I used to conceal my under eyes. So I'm going to be taking this concealer. I just like to put a little bit like on the back of my hand, and then I'll go in with this concealer brush. This is the Sigma F70 concealer brush. I like to get it all nice and coated in that concealer. And then this is the fun part where I get to cut the crease. So as you guys can see, I'm just going in and laying down the concealer initially on the inner corner of my eyes, and then I'll kind of like look up, and then it'll give me a little bit of a template guide to go with, and then I pretty much just have to follow along with that guide. So again, applying some on the lid, and then when you look up, it like stamps it into place for you. I feel like that is the easiest way to do a cut crease. And then if you want to, you can go like a little bit above that line that it's created. And then as for the inner corner, I'm gonna go a little more like into the inner corner, if that makes sense. So it's essentially like taking over the inner corner, like the very, very inner corner of my eye. And then once again, I'm just going to go a little bit above what the template gave me. And then that's the easiest way to create a very defined cut crease without having to worry about making mistakes. Let me tell you though, it's a lot easier when you don't have lashes in the way, that's for sure. But we do what we can. So I'm pretty much just going to take it halfway across like that. I'll leave that as it is on the outer corner, and then I'll just carefully press through here. Try not to get any concealer on my lashes. And then again, just doing the exact same to my other eye, patting the concealer on, letting my eyes naturally make a template for myself, and then kind of following on and defining it from there. Moving on to the next step now. I already started doing it without realizing that my camera wasn't recording anymore, but basically I'm going to be taking this shadow right here called GRWM, or Get Ready With Me, and I'm using that to essentially set that concealer in place and pretty much act as my all over lid shade. So just taking a flat shading brush and patting that onto the area where I applied the concealer. So for the outer corners of my eyes, I'm actually going to pull out my Volume 1 palette from Jaclyn Hill. Now this is actually, as you can see, very well loved, but I realized that the Volume 2 palette doesn't really have like those smoky brown shadows that I like to apply to the outer corner of my eyes. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this one right here, the dark chocolate brown one. Unfortunately, this palette doesn't have the names of the shades written on it, so I don't know what it's called, but I'm going to be taking that shadow right there and applying it to the outer corner of my eyes and blending it into that lid shade as well as the crease shades. Alright, so now that I've got that color on the outer corners of my eyes, I'm seeing that the contrast between the two of like where they meet in the middle is pretty stark. So what I'm actually going to do is go back into the Volume 2 palette, and I'm going to be taking G Money once again and using that as like a transition between the lid shade and the outer corner shade as well. I guess it's also kind of like custom creating some type of shade because it's blending and mixing the two together. So as you guys can see, there is a difference between like where it's like a little more harsh compared to this where it's blended between the two and it's not so harsh, and it does tie in well because this is essentially the shadow that I have in the crease, like the defined cut crease. So just going ahead and doing that to the other side as well. And while I'm here, I also forgot to run this along my bottom lash line, so I'm going to do that, but keep it closer to my lashes to further define the eyes. And then it's at this point that I'll just go back in with the first brush that I used to apply the first shadow that I laid down in the crease. I don't have any extra product on this brush, but I'm just going in and blending a little bit at that top edge and just smoking it out a little bit and making everything look a little more seamless without losing that defined edge that I want to keep at the same time. As I said, I haven't added any extra product to the brush, so I'm really just lightly smoking it out a little more and just making sure that everything is like even and blended. I was initially planning to go in with a winged liner today, but I'm actually liking how it looks like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply some mascara to my bottom lashes to finish off the eyes. And for that, I'm using this one from Essence. This is their Lash Princess False Lash Effect Mascara. Now, I actually used to use this a long time ago when I didn't have lash extensions. It is an amazing drugstore mascara. Less than 10 bucks and gets the job done. It makes your lashes look super long and defined, and it's just, as I said, an amazing mascara. So now that the eyes are done, I'm going to go ahead and finish off the rest of my face, starting off with bronzing it. So I'm going to be using the Benefit Hoola bronzer. As you guys may know, this is my current favorite bronzer, so I'm just going to be applying that to all of the areas that I generally like to bronze, like my cheekbones and around my hairline. And I'm also going to be using this to contour my nose. It works great as a nose contour shade because it's not too warm, not too cool. It's just a really nice in-between for my skin tone. And then for blush today, I'm going to be using this one from Milani. This is their baked blush in Luminoso. I'm sure a lot of you guys are very familiar with this particular product because it is very popular. It is a beautiful peachy toned blush that has a little bit of a sheen throughout it, so it gives some nice dimension to the cheeks as well. So as you guys can see, just applying that to the apples of my cheeks and then pulling it back up towards my hairline. And then for highlighter today, I'm going to be using this one from L'Oreal. This is the Gilded Honey Highlighter. This is another one of my well-loved products. I love the tone of it. The tone of this gold is perfect for my skin tone. So as you guys can see, just applying that to the tops of my cheekbones, above my brows, and also down the bridge of my nose. And then last but not least, the lips. We're going to keep it nude, we're going to keep it neutral, we're going to keep it glossy as well. So to start things off, I'm going to be going in with this lip liner from Morphe. This is their lip liner in Sweet Tea, so just going ahead and outlining my lips with that. These lip liners were actually a recent discovery of mine, and for the price, they're only $4 each, but they are insanely good when it comes to quality. Next up, we have the Dose of Colors liquid lipstick in Sand. So this is a very pale lip color, but I did say I wanted to keep the lips nude, so we are going nude today. So I'm just applying that all over my lips and then blending it into that lip liner as I do. And then it's at this point that you could like go back in with your lip liner just to help like blend the two together, because as I said, it is a very pale lip color and I don't want my lips to look white, so I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of blend it using the lip liner. And then to top that off, I'm going in with the Morphe lip gloss in the shade Chill. As you guys can see, this is a straight up light caramel type of nude, which I feel like is the perfect topper for this lip combo. Last but not least, just taking a spritz of the NYX spray. Once again, as I said, this is a multitasking spray, so you can use it to prime your face, refresh it, and also set your makeup. And then that is the look complete. So there we have you guys, 0 to 100. That is the makeup look complete. I want you to comment down below and let me know what you think. If you did enjoy this video or you found it helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, like it before you leave it, and if you're still here at the end watching and you are not yet subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing by clicking the little red button down below before you go, so you don't miss any more videos that I post. As always, I'm going to go ahead and leave a full list of everything I used in the description box down below in case you missed anything, but you can also find all my social media links down there as well if you want to keep up with me on any of those. And with that being said, I hope you guys are having an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. I hope you're staying safe, looking after yourselves, and looking out for each other. And I will talk to you guys in the comments, and I'll see you all in my next video.